Hello family, Sir here, and in this video we are going to go over everything we know so far about the stimulus bill in regards to the $25 billion in rental assistance. Welcome to my channel. I am Sir Ashley. Now, before we get into it, on this channel we talk about money, real estate, and all things Charlotte. If you're interested in any one of those things, I know you're interested in money, I know you're interested in real estate, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you can be alerted for when we drop new videos. But in this video, we are going to address how the stimulus bill impacts all tenants and landlords right here in the United States. Now remember, this bill is not even 24 hours old at the time of recording this, so there are some things that we do not quite know, and the bill is over 5,000 pages. But I went through the portion regarding the rental assistance, and I want to provide that to you. There will also be a link to the bill if you want to go ahead and check on that yourself. So right now, we know that there's $25 billion that is allocated to rental assistance, but it will be the states in charge of providing those monies to its residents. Now, it's pretty significant that the states are in charge of who gets these funds because the bill can have its limitations and restrictions, but the states can add additional restrictions and limitations on who is eligible for this rental assistance. So this video right here goes over who generally gets the rental assistance, but know that your state might be more restrictive. We also know that the eviction ban has been extended about a month to January 31st, 2021. The next thing we know is that the monies are first come, first serve. So like most things in life, the early bird gets the worm. Do not put this off. If you're behind on rent, or if you're a landlord who has a tenant that's behind on rent, you're going to want to deal with this application as soon as possible. And based on how slow Congress and government is, I presume that the applications should be available right around December 28th or the first of the year. So if you want to be one of the first ones to apply online, be sure to get your ducks in a row right now. Make sure you have PDF copies of all your paperwork. You're also going to want to do this online because we all know how long the Postal Service is taking these days to deliver mail. And trust me, you do not want your rental assistance application sitting in some post office. And if I were you, I would figure out what's my back rent from the date you stopped paying or started making partial payments through the end of January 2021. Make sure you have this number because the stimulus bill that just passed allows you not only to get back rent, but also you're able to get rent going forward. So you're able to apply for rental assistance for future months. So let me go over who can apply for rental assistance. In this stimulus bill, the landlord can apply on behalf of the tenant, but the tenant is going to have to sign off on that application. Now, I want to be clear. Landlords, you can apply on behalf of your tenants, but the tenants are going to have to sign an affidavit confirming that the assistance amount is correct. So, to all my fellow landlords out there, I hope that you've been cordial and have had a decent relationship with your tenants during this trying time, because you're going to need their signature if you plan on getting your back rent. Yes, it can be an electronic signature. Now, this is just words of advice to both landlords and tenants during this very frustrating time. I know that this past year has been very trying, to say the least, but all parties are wanting the same thing, and we want to make sure that the rents are paid. So it's best to work together in this process, and there's no need to add any more frustration onto an already difficult situation. Now, tenants, you can apply directly for rental assistance as well. Then the money goes directly from the government to the eligible landlord or eligible utility companies. We'll address utilities a little later in the video. So tenants, you will actually not see or touch any of the monies, and the money will go directly to who they're owed to. If I were you landlords and tenants right now, I would make sure that you have documentations of everything and present it with your application. You want to make sure you have past receipts, the initial payment receipt, security deposits, and the original rental agreement. Again, we don't know quite how strict individual states will be when they look over your application. So to avoid any delays or to get your application pushed to the back, I say get everything prepared, because it's better to be over prepared and just hand them everything as opposed to not having everything when you go to apply. Now, let's dive into who's eligible for this rental assistance and who gets prioritized for this rental assistance. Now, this is where you'll have to do a little action and do a little research on your own. If you're a tenant and your income is lower than 50% of your area's median income, then you get prioritized. But remember, the program is also first come, first serve. So this kind of needs to be cleared up. But regardless, I say get your applications in ASAP because you do not want to be one of the last ones, regardless of who gets prioritized. Now, I recommend everybody to do your own research, but I'm in Charlotte, and according to census.gov, the median household income is just over $62,000. So a tenant household making less than $35,000 would be prioritized. Now, this number can change and will change depending on how many people you have in your household. If you're unsure about the median income in your area, I say do a quick Google search and try to find a reputable website to provide those numbers for you. Another group of people who gets prioritized are people who are unemployed. Now, you can't just quit your job or become unemployed. In the bill, it says you have to be unemployed for at least 90 days to get priority for rental assistance. Now, the next way to get prioritized for rental assistance is pretty much all encompassing. It says you're going to have to affirm or sign a document saying that you or somebody in your household is at risk of being homeless or has some kind of housing instability. Now, when I looked at that, I was like, housing instability, what does that mean? Well, lucky for me and lucky for us, in the bill, they go ahead and map out what exactly housing instability means. In the bill, Congress defines housing instability as being late on a utility bill. So hell, if you're late on a utility bill, you then qualify as having housing instability and you get prioritized for rental assistance. So again, have all these documents handy so you can put them in your application for rental assistance. Now let's talk briefly on how much assistance you can get. The rental assistance can go back up to 12 months and you're able to get up to 3 months in the future of rental assistance. So tenants, you can possibly get up to 15 months for rental assistance and utility assistance and other housing expenses. Now in the bill, they threw in other housing expenses. Now we're not sure if court costs fall under those other housing expenses because if the landlord has already filed an eviction paperwork against the tenant, the landlord is going to want those monies back. So technically, those are other housing expenses that you can try to get rental assistance for, but we're going to have to seek clarification regarding that. Now let's talk about who gets the money. The federal government is going to give the money to the states, and then the states will divide it amongst their counties. Now remember, there's only 25 billion. And I smile because I say only 25 billion. That's a crazy amount of money, but it is a finite amount of money for each state. So when the money's gone, it's gone until Congress passes another stimulus bill. But as we've seen how long this one has taken, do not hold your breath for anything happening anytime soon. So to all my tenants out there and to my fellow landlords, if I were you, I would be getting all my documents in order and reaching out to the local housing agencies and local government the week right after Christmas so you can see exactly where you have to apply, when you can apply, and what documentation you will need. Because as I said, once the money's gone, it's gone. And you want to make sure you are one of the first ones to have your rental application in with all of the proper documentation. If this was helpful, go ahead and leave a like and feel free to comment on the video. Talk soon.